It's been more than 5 years since the release of the last movie of the franchise, and Mad Max The Wasteland still hasn't happened. So far, we hope for the sequel of the Mad Max 5, since the script already exists, and we can't hide our excitement for the long-awaited movie. Nothing much has happened for the fans in the last 5 years since The Fury Road came out, and we are still wondering if we will hear about Max and Furiosa again. Tom Hardy was in the place of Mel Gibson and Charlize Theron as the Imperator Furiosa. The film became an instant classic and was considered one of the best films of the 2010s. The biggest reason for the delay was a legal dispute between George Miller's production company and Warner Bros. The director was promised a bonus of $7 million if the final cost of the film didn't surpass $157 million. Although Warner Bros. Was pointing out that the film eventually did go over budget. Also, there was a contract which said that Miller's company would be the first choice to provide co-financing if needed, which wasn't the case. Warner Bros. Tried to move the suit out of Miller's native Australia, and in a 2019 interview, Miller said, "We're still solving. We've got to play out the Warners thing. It seems to be pretty clear that it's going to happen, along with incredible visual effects and having the set pieces come to life with stunt work." Mad Max Fury Road was one of the most talked about and well-made action movies in recent history. Films like the Fast and Furious franchise can't even compare to the intensity of the Fury Road's action sequences. George Miller has a very specific way of working on his movies, where he actually stages the action set pieces in front of the camera. This way, his action can really come to life, and we are really eager to see more of this method on the screen. If he has a chance to direct the Mad Max The Wasteland, he will, without a doubt, use just as many visual effects and create action scenes which are just as impressive. Even though Miller is not working on 3,000 Years of Longing, starring Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton, he told Deadline, "I'm not done with the Mad Max story, but I think you have to be a multitasker. There's certainly another Mad Max coming down the pike after. We're in preparation on that as well." There were rumors that surfaced in February 2020 that Mad Max The Wasteland would begin filming in autumn 2020, which eventually wasn't true. But this should definitely not discourage all the fans out there, since there are reports of not one but 2 sequels of Fury Road already written. And with Tom Hardy and maybe Charlize Theron on board, we should have our fingers crossed and our eyes open for new updates. Miller and his co-writer Nick Latharis spent many hours on the narrative and on production, pitching ideas and having at least one draft for one of the 2 film sequels of Fury Road. This will boost the whole process for the film to enter production, which sadly won't be anytime soon. It will likely take many more years until we hear about Mad Max The Wasteland. But fans should take comfort in the fact that a prequel film which features the Queen's Gambit actress Anya Taylor-Joy over Charlize Theron's title role already has a release date on May 24, 2024. Since it took so long for Fury Road to begin filming, Miller and his co-writer Brendan McCarthy had a lot of time to develop backstories for Max and Furiosa, which led them to write 2 additional screenplays while they were collecting funds to produce Fury Road. Max's undiscovered backstory became Mad Max The Wasteland, and Furiosa's backstory will be turned into the Mad Max Furiosa the prequel. There is not much information about the casting for Mad Max The Wasteland, beyond one of its former stars. Tom Hardy signed a contract to star in 3 more Mad Max movies distributed by Warner Bros. It's not a secret that the film returned lots of benefits for Hardy's career. But for all the Charlize Theron's fans, we are sorry to disappoint you, but she will not be returning as her character Furiosa. As Miller said, her character is not in the Mad Max sequel story. It is also very unlikely that the original Max Rockatansky, played by Mel Gibson, will make a comeback in a future Mad Max film. In fact, Gibson's incident that sank his career was one of the reasons the film was delayed, and during that time, Fury Road was created. Our guess is that George Miller would return to co-write the script alongside Nick Latharis and to direct the movie, since he is the director of every Mad Max film so far. But he also expressed interest and mentioned that he would like to have other directors, including Guillermo del Toro, to replace him and direct a Mad Max movie. As far as the title, The Wasteland is pretty awesome. No matter what, George Miller will still attract his fans to watch it. The hints are that the next movie could take us into a threatening, post-apocalyptic wasteland. In Mad Max The Wasteland, Max's character is set to be in the main focus. It will give Hardy an opportunity to stand out in the role, which he didn't have a chance to in Fury Road, where Fury Road was very bright and had lots of color, with every frame filled with vibrant visuals. The Wasteland will be very dark and colorless. The design might be similar to something like The Road than previous Mad Max movies. When Mad Max Fury Road was released, Charlize Theron's character, Ferocia, rapidly became a fan-favorite character. Actually, she was the real lead character of the movie, and Max just followed her along. Theron stated that she would like to return her role as Ferocia in a future film, but unfortunately, the character doesn't have a good place in the Wasteland, since the plot is happening a year before Max met Ferocia in Fury Road. Supposedly, the Wasteland will return to the adventures of Mad Max, named Max Rockatansky, a former cop whose family was murdered by a gang and who seeks revenge against those who committed that dreadful crime. Ever since, he's become something of an archetypical Western hero, riding into small towns and situations, engaging brutality, and then riding off into the sunset after the conflict is settled. After the enormous success of Fury Road, we would assume that George Miller will play it safe and copy what worked for that movie when he makes the sequel. But according to him, Mad Max 5 will be definitely different. The Wasteland will be strong visually and almost the opposite of Fury Road, which is certainly interesting. Without any doubt, we have to see Mad Max The Wasteland happen, since the director George Miller has a genuine story to tell. It's not just a greedy attempt by the studio executives trying to show quarterly growth following their predecessor, who did very well at the box office. That's the way we end up with the worst kinds of sequels, the ones whose stories aren't worth filming and just end up repeating the original, and not in a good way. So it'll be inspiring to see a sequel that the creator has a real desire to make. On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on the sequel with the new? And which character of the Mad Max has been your favorite? And what was the coolest thing you saw in the entire movie? And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.